You're listening to the Earthwatch update. Some of these images that we're going to let roll here, we've been following this for some time about the solar winds and the radiation levels and how the indicators will go into that here. But I want to show you these images. That is United States, not North Korea. That big dark spot in the northeast corridor of the United States really represents something for a lot of us who've been following the patterns in the weather changes that are happening according to space science. Now that to me is a couple things. That could be an EMP, that could be a weather related situation. Some people even say it could be a mechanism that they can shut off. I don't know. These are the theories right now. But when you look at this solar, what they call CME, which if you're looking at the solar minimum, when you have a storm like our sunspots, they actually name them, that would be the description. That's, if you want to take a good look at that and study that, might explain the impact of Earth-facing CME and how that affects your grid. Okay? Well, not my grid. Not your grid, but the grid. Okay. All right. I'm going to show you some more images here because these articles are explaining something else. Now, if you haven't followed some of the people that we've been following, they're pretty good at explaining this, much better than I am, but we're going to do our best to explain this. These are the auroras that have been seen over Minnesota, Michigan, and Washington, actually, which is really unusual because the further south it goes, the more, people can see auroras. Now, it was more common in Alaska, further up north, maybe closer to the Antarctica. But now you're going to be able to see auroras wherever you are in the United States at some point. And here's some things that happened Friday. I had no idea there was a blackout. But this was Friday night. I was going to the tanning salon, maybe Thursday or Friday. I believe it was Friday. But I started to see the sky is a little more pinkish. This is in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to show you some more how the sky, and you know how cameras are. They don't show you how really pink it was, but it was pretty pink. Pink enough that I had to take an image of that. And that is, as pretty as that is, okay, that's the sunset. But as you see another image here, this shows that there's more chargeable particles in the sky. That's the reflection from the sun. And it gives it that pinkish color. When it starts to get pinkish red, and we've seen the sky pretty colorful over the last couple years. So, but as it gets more pinkish and the auroras are closer to like areas like here in Pennsylvania, these are indicators that the radiation levels in the sky are pretty high. Actually, I'm going to follow up some more reports that the radiation levels are so intense right now that people who typically don't get sunburn are experiencing really bad sunburn. So this is a important thing that we've been following. I'm going to follow up here in a moment. Just give me one quick minute. I'm going to switch the tape and stretch it out here for a moment. Okay, I'm back. I had to switch the tape out. Okay, so we've talked about the solar winds, and what makes this a really unique experience altogether is because further closer to like where I'm at in Pennsylvania, into Ohio, on into West Virginia, maybe even you go into Virginia, you won't see an aurora, not like you can in like the upper part of the United States, maybe I would even say further up north. But now you're starting to see the residual effects, and now where predictions are saying that you're going to start seeing auroras, they're going to be actually quite normal as far down as Florida, which is like a rare thing, but it's been a prediction. And now it's like, wow, these people were right. They were predicting it a couple years ago when we were following like a lot more regarding the third watch. I believe we're in like a fourth watch more or less now. It's a little, we're beyond the third watch. Okay, there's a fourth watch. I think it's the after. It's like the predictions were all in the third watch and we're watching for it to come. We were watching the blood moons, which I found really fascinating. And some other events, like the one I think was key was the Bethlehem Star, because that in itself was something hadn't been seen since the time of Jesus' birth. But to see us in this time period, to see that, and it had been visible to the naked eye. And now you're seeing these other things happen. So it's been a timeline of really, scientific signs and wonders. Really scientifically, there's so much here, and I feel like we are only touching the surface. So I always want to offer more information and links, and I would go to space weather, and I would track the satellite radio, because satellite radio and things like that, you're going to have satellite radio, because I think this is going to become more common, rolling blackouts and things like that. But what happened on Friday, I think it's going to be more common. That's why I think people need to think differently about the type of cell phones they use. And I'm going to look into satellite radios and satellite phones and two-way radios, because this is the new norm. This will be, not right now, but pretty soon. You have a little bit of time to work with, I think. This is going to become the new norm, though. So I would follow these links below in the description box. But I've been itching to talk about this for a while, because I can see it. Like, we were following this like just about a year ago. So I really hope you take more time to do a little more homework on this, about what's going on above us. That's about it. I know a lot of people have anxiety about a lot of these topics, but please don't do that, because, the whole point to watching and paying attention, obviously there's some concerns, but I don't want people to be robbed of an opportunity to learn too, because a lot of times there's a lot of hype, but it doesn't give you the ability to think clearly. So think clearly, do your homework, study. The best way to focus and know more about a topic is study it. That way, it removes all that stress and anxiety. A lot of times, because people are uninformed, they get anxiety over something they're not even familiar with. They don't either have the right information, or they don't have the time to do the homework. We've actually tried to eliminate a lot of that anxiety by doing the homework for you. All you really have to do is just study it yourself. And instead of like bulking at this, just keep an open mind. That's the whole point, is go in there thinking, okay, I don't really know a lot about this topic, but I need to get informed. There's no point in trying to explain all this if you get upset, anxious, nervous, uncomfortable. And a lot of times what it is it's just simple science and following it and doing homework. But we were just following it for years. And as you learn more terminology, you understand that, the sun really affects the earth. Now, there's some other planetary events that are happening, and we're watching. There's going to be a solar eclipse in August, and then the big sign in heaven, which is September 23rd. But I think up to this, now to that point, you're going to probably see other events. Like right now, there's I apologize if I'm jacking this up, but instead of trying to explain all that, I'm going to go ahead and put all the information in the description box. Earthwatch Update is a part of the Amateur Radio Network. You can find our posts and links at Vimeo, our parent channel. Thank you.